Hello, Joseph Bennett. It is really good to see you.
Wow. It is always a pleasure to see you and all of our audience members and our guests. Like this is an insane time in our lives, Meredith Grundy. Do you know that?
There's a lot happening in the world.
There's a lot happening. And what I'm most appreciative of is how many of us are showing up with heart and with love. That's huge.
It is huge. And I was recently, and I'm excited for our guest, Justin, who's here with us today. And I want to share with both of you. I was in Puerto Rico a few weeks ago, and there was this independent artist fair going on. And I just love supporting local artists. And I found this print that this woman made in Spanish. It says "Fight with love." And I felt
Mm.
that on so many levels that fighting is inevitable. We have conflict, but what would that conflict look like if we led with heart and if we led with love? It would look very different. And so I hung that by my front door, and you just reminded me of that.
Mm.
You just
That is
reminded me of that.
beautiful. A, I love the sentiment. And B, thank you for supporting young artists. Or I'm going to assume that she's young, but
She is.
you
Yes.
know,
It was a
emerging artists.
residency. Of course. Of course. I mean, we got to support the artists because they are spreading story in different ways that are making us see them differently. So,
And
uh
telling the truths that sometimes we aren't fully aware of or know what to do with, right? Sometimes there's just the truth of the matter and we don't know what to do with that,
yeah,
right?
so
We're
true.
stymied.
Yeah,
But
so
our
true.
guest Justin knows what to do.
He does. I'm very excited to have Justin with us today on Are You Waiting for Permission? So, Justin and I met a little over a year ago, and I read and listened to two of his books, Epic Life and Epic Business. And I reached out to him and I was like, I want to speak with Justin more. And then I found out about Epic, and it's called Epic Fit. And I'm going to let Justin speak a little bit more about it. But him, Mark Fujiwara, and his wife, Sarah Breen, started this amazing networking group. And so Justin Breen is the founder, one of the founders of Epic Fit. And he's currently writing his book, Epic Journey, which I'm very excited to read. And I've gotten to read a little bit of it so far, and it's very inspirational.
Thank you.
And Justin's purpose in life is to connect visionaries to serve humanity. So, Justin, welcome.
Oh, honored to be here. One of the chapters in Epic Life is lead with your heart, and then all I do is talk to the world's top visionaries who are the most damaged people with the best coping skills. And coping comes from a Latin word which means to fight. So fighting with love at the highest level. So that's what true visionary. They just fight. They just fight the hardest with the most love. And then to be great is to be misunderstood. That's my favorite quote from Emerson. And then visionaries are the most misunderstood people on the planet because they're fighting with love, not with bank accounts or scaling companies. They're just fighting with love, and most people don't understand that.
Mm,
Can
beautiful.
I jump in with a question right off that's
Yes.
burning?
Yes.
Justin, could you tell us? So this is a big vision, right? This is a world-changing vision, and
Mhm.
I get interested in the micro a little bit. Like, what are the conversations like with your family around the
You like
dinner
detail.
table?
You like details. Yeah, I don't. I'm pure big vision, and then I just do it. And then I don't wait for permission. You just do it. I just don't live in waiting for anything. And the only way to do something or learn something is actually do it, not
Mm.
someone else to give you permission to do it. You just do it. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit, Justin, because I
Didn't
think
answer
this
your
will answer.
question at all, I don't think, but
What did you say?
I don't think that answered Joseph's questions at all. But I'm not details. I'm just action, pure
Do you know
action.
what, though? I think this will answer Joseph's question a little bit, which is that there's something you've been doing with your children lately. One of your sons, which is drawing pictures.
Both of
I-
them. Yeah, both.
yeah, will you share with me a little bit about like what's the last one that the two of you or
Um,
he did?
well, right now it's summer, so we're in a funny way we're beating each other up. I took a break. One had a baseball bat and one had a belt, so they're 11 and 10, so they're wild maniacs like me, but they're also geniuses. For those who know who Earl Nightingale was, success is the progressive realization of worthy ideal. That used to be my favorite quote. So our children are, and I don't say this lightly, but they just are their little versions of that. But Chase,
Mm.
who just turned 10, but when he was 9, uh, this will be in the Epic Journey book, but he drew 3 circles connected by a triangle, because triangles are the strongest shape. People make bridges out of triangles; they're inherently rigid. But the 3 circles were, one was a grandfather, great son, um, one was a mother earth, and then one was a moon. So it's 3 circles connected with a triangle. Geometry unlocks consciousness. And then he and I agree that the world's biggest problem is that there are too many grandfather, great sons. We'll just call them men with giant egos, and then they're just
Mm.
everything with their ego or trying to make more money. And then they don't have the Mother Earth, which Chase described as the source of light or life and reflection, source of life and reflection. And then business people, the word business literally comes from a word that means anxiety. So I don't even say that word unless I'm compelled to say it just to show what
Mhm.
it actually means. So business people talk about visionary and integrators. That's a business relationship, not a real partnership, because business means anxiety. Triangle partnerships are the key. And then just within our company, because talk is meaningless to me, it's meaningless to me without an answer or action. So I'm definitely the grandfather, great son. If I did anything backstage within our company, I would melt everything. I would destroy everything. My wife is a pediatrician, and then she's an adult pediatrician now because almost all of our members have ADD. They're like little kids. So she's the source of life and reflection. And then my partner, Mark Fujiwara, his strength finders are competition, maximizer, empathy. So he wants to win big at the highest level with empathy, which is fighting with love, which is what you were just talking about. And he's the moon. And then all our collaborations within our company, the only thing I insisted, because I stay out of the backstage stuff, but all the collaborations, they have to have at least one woman, or one of the 3 has to have more feminine energy, because otherwise it's just 2 men melting each other with their own ego.
Mm. Yeah. Thank you for the mindfulness around that, of including other voices in the room. That's huge.
Well,
Thank you.
it's an interesting thing that you just said, and one I actually did provide you with a lot of details there, so thanks for the but also it's not mindfulness, it's heart. It's heart first. So it's
Mm.
actually not mind. The heart is far stronger than the mind, and another false construct in our society that everything's about mindset, incorrect. It's actually about heart first. So everything I do, it's based on pure intuition and gut, heart feeling. Everything. It didn't used to be that way, but I had to learn that you just follow your heart with pure love, and then that's what the company's certainly a result of that. But the Epic Journey book, Meredith, I'll send you the rest of it. And I can't announce it publicly because this is live right now, but the announcements that are coming with that book are so big and transformational.
Mm.
It's overwhelming in a good way, but the reason why that's happened is because it was pure risk, I mean, risked everything to do it. I think that's the only way to live life. And then it's just based on pure love. I mean, that's what it is. So just went for it completely. Nope, no asking for permission, just going for it. And I think that's really the only way to truly live life, and that's the only way visionaries truly live life. They're not restricted by anything ever.
So tell me, Justin, what was that shift for you? Because you just mentioned
Yeah.
that you went from mind to heart. What was that shift for you? What happened?
Well, many things. And then Earl Nightingale, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So my worthy ideal has always been connecting visionaries to serve humanity. Um, Connecting visionaries to serve humanity, and I'm 47 years old now, so that didn't just happen when I was 1 or 2 or 5. It just kept going.
Mm.
But what I will say is just, and I don't live in days or years. Like I just don't. Even though I said I was 47 years old, but like that's just another human. Like I guess what today's technically Tuesday or whatever that means. But I just live one life. But when you constantly have conscious conversations with top people on planet, or those that will make investment and take action to be top people on planet, where they just want to increase their consciousness and love or fight with love. then organically or naturally, the byproduct is I evolve as well. Um,
Mm.
and so, and every day, the two questions I ask people: what is your purpose, and who do you love? So, what is your purpose? Who do you love? What is your purpose? Who do you love? What is your so by doing that, one, I find out what people's purpose is and who they love, but also it helps me get better with who I love and what my purpose is. Um, and then again, just completely risking everything to do something. Chapter one of the book is about serendipity. So it's what that means is you're looking for something, but it's actually what you were not looking for is what you were really looking for unconsciously. And then so that unconscious was brought out into the conscious, which is really fascinating to see that in real time. And it's a great responsibility to have that happen for me, and I don't take it lightly because I know the book will help a lot of people do the same thing for themselves, for sure. It already is.
Question for Meredith.
Hmm.
What attracted you, or what synchronicity from chapter one led you to Epic Fit and to travel across the country to go to the meeting?
It's a great question.
I'm a very curious person, and I'm also what I loved about Justin was when I first he found me, I believe, on LinkedIn because Mark did a talk that I also did a talk at, which was for a
Mhm.
speak event. And so Justin reached out to me on LinkedIn and asked me immediately what my Colby score was, and I didn't know what that was. And so I was like, I don't know what that is. And he goes, take the Colby score and then let's meet. And I was like, sure. So, and because I have such a yes and
Mhm.
attitude towards things, I was like,
Right.
I want
Why
to know what
wouldn't
this
you?
is. So I took the Colby score and then I messaged him and then he said, let's have a meeting. So the Colby score, I'm a 2.5.
2585.
8.5. Yep. So which means I'm a quick start and then I have a pretty decent follow
You
through.
do. Yes.
Pretty decent follow through.
And you do stuff with your hands and act. That's why you have a 5 implementer. I
Yeah.
have a 1, so, like, drawing or getting on technology is almost impossible for me, as you saw.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
Joseph, have you done that? Have you done that, Colby?
I have not.
Okay.
Oh, you should. I have found it very helpful to have communication with other people because we're like, "Oh, you're a 9.3 or you're a," and also a 2. I'm not a deep researcher, and that's very true. So,
Mm.
um, but
Although
anyway,
I will say
yeah.
that I have so much in common with Meredith Grundy that I am probably a 2585.
It would not surprise me in any capacity. Uh, the key for all of that, and Meredith already said it, is that if you are a 5 follow through, for a visionary, that's astronomically high. I'm a 6, which is like unheard of for a visionary. And then I'm also an incredibly high fact finder and a high quick start. So it's like 3 people in one, with zero ability to use my hands like for anything except like maybe typing. But I'm sending you the rest of the manuscript, Mary.
Mm,
Yeah, thank
okay.
you. Thank you for that. Yeah, and so then I got in touch with Justin at the beginning of the year and he said I'm starting this, or we have already started this network group called at the time Brepic. Would you be interested in joining? And then I met with his wife and I knew Mark and I said, of course, yes.
Mm,
And then the retreat, the first one that we've had was I felt just absolutely incredible. And I'm a person who used to go to church camp all the time. I don't so
mhm.
much subscribe to that anymore in that way, spiritually speaking. But I
Yeah.
will say that what I felt in that room was very similar to the heart-centered, things that I felt when I was a younger child.
Sanctuary.
It was a
Sanctuary.
sanctuary space.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. So
That's wonderful.
uh, I'm very much, and the people are just incredible human beings doing incredible things for the world and for
They're
humanity.
fighting with love. You already said the I just sent it to you, Meredith, in WhatsApp.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
You know
you.
what thank you means?
Mm-mm.
It means acknowledging the other person's humanity. Learn that in our group also. Most of our members, not all, but most of them are fairly wealthy, which is good. It's fine. Money is energy. But so they have time to like they have time. They have time because a lot of folks they're focused on money, which is also fine, but it takes away from purpose. It takes away from love if focused on um, So when I'm only mentioning again because I can hear it. When someone mentions the word business, and which literally means anxiety, they're just nervous. They're just focused on nerves. You can just hear it. You
Mm,
hear the anxiety.
mm.
Yeah.
So there are some listeners out there, Justin, who would love to do something epic, would love to lead with love, would love to write books, would love to reach out and connect with visionaries. And
Right.
I'm going to make an assumption here, but I've known a few of them over the years, and they're a little bit stuck.
Yeah.
They're not really sure
I
how
don't.
to get started.
Oh, thank you for saying that and asking that. I don't. I genuinely don't understand it. I don't. So Mark, again, Mark is our partner. He's third in
Hmm.
empathy. He's third in empathy. There's 34 strength finders. I'm 34 out of 34. Dead last. Dead last. For visionaries who make no excuses, who will never make an excuse, I have endless empathy. The entire Epic Journey book is about people that didn't make excuses, and the reason why they're the top visionaries on the planet is because they won't make excuses. They won't. They won't. They aren't stuck. Or if they are stuck, they'll find a way to work around it. So just so it's very clear or understood, um, my litmus test for this is my litmus test. There's no right or wrong answer, but I don't understand being stuck. So my father was 61. He was 61 when I was born. 61. He'd be 108 now. He was a World War II hero, shot down multiple times in combat, many times without a parachute. He would get back into a plane. He kept a diary of
Hmm.
his war experiences, fighting in Battle of Hurtgen Forest toward end of World War II, German-Belgian border. So this is also an epic journey book. But one of the passages in it, and this is very graphic for those who can't handle really disgusting things, or just this is just what war is. But he watched his friend die in a plane crash, massive explosion. His friend's face was melted off, legs were burnt to a crisp, dead on impact. And then they got him out of the plane, put him in a, they're like, I put him in a coffin, put him in the cemetery. And then 20 minutes later, the commanding officer said to my dad and his soldier friend, can you do a bombing mission now? He was a bomb spotter. And he goes,
Mm,
yeah, okay.
mm.
So I do not understand. I hear what you're saying with the question. I don't understand it because a true visionary would never think like that, ever. Never. They would not be like that. They wouldn't. A small business owner might, an employee might, a consultant might, not a true visionary. They would never make an excuse. And the reason why I talk like that or communicate like that, one, because that's just how it is. That's just how it is. But two, there might be someone out there who is like that, and they've been surrounded by people who do make excuses, and they're like, "Why am I the only one who's not making excuses?" Because it's very rare to be like this. It's very, very rare, very rare. So they've never had conversations like this where someone actually spoke to them the way that they've wanted to had a conversation, but no one around them has understood them. So that's why I communicate like this, because it eliminates excuses. Now, at the highest level, there are no excuses, none, and you can hear it when people try to do it, and they only limit themselves. And I cannot help a limiter who's limiting themselves because I have no limits, none, zero.
Meredith, can you speak to that as well?
I totally resonate, Justin, with what you said when you're somebody who is more of a visionary with no excuses, surrounded by communities of people who do have excuses,
Right,
how that can be very stifling. I feel that there have been plenty of conversations in my life with people that I truly love.
right,
Mm,
And what I see those people that I love fail to do is to take 100%
they won't
responsibility.
do it. They're not going to do it.
And and that's the piece I feel that sometimes is missing for people who are looking to be more heart-centered, more heart-led, is that they don't accept the fact that they're responsible.
100%. Yeah. I mean, we said the same thing in a different way. I guess in human terms, what you said was kinder or nicer than what I said, but it's the same thing. And if you're not a litmus test for people you serve, that's hypocrisy. So if someone wants to be a litmus test for small business owners who want to stay small business owners, or someone who wants to be a litmus test for consultants, or if they want to be in a small business employee group, that's fine. That's fine. At the highest visionary level, there are no excuses.
Mm.
People who make no excuses do not want to hang out with people that make excuses. They don't. They don't.
And a lot of these people, these visionaries that you're talking about too, have overcome adversity.
There are 4 things that separate visionaries from humans, small business owners, consultants. There are only 4. Would you like to know the 4?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. 1, bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy. 2, depression. 3, highest level of anxiety you can imagine. 4, trauma as a child or young adult. Humans, business owners, consultants, those are excuses. Visionary, figure it out. Figure it out. Most damaged person with best coping skills. Coping means to fight with love. Coping skills in human world is highest IQ, highest EQ. Most people do not have the IQ and EQ to be pure visionary. They don't. Because if they did, they would not make excuses. They wouldn't.
Joseph, how does this show up in your life?
I'm really lucky that I have a lot of vision and a lot of execution.
Right.
And that's why I have a podcast called Are You Waiting for Permission? Because I haven't in my life.
Mm.
As a sober gay artist who has gotten out of a lot of debt and left the country
Are
and
you all 4 of those things?
say again?
Are you all? So most of the people, when I first started First Company 7 years ago with zero business background, nothing. I still don't know what an S corp is. I don't care. I don't care. I didn't know what a tax. I don't give. I
God
don't,
bless you.
who cares? I don't care about that stuff. That's for someone else to worry about. The So when I first started, I was still talking to people that were 1 or 2, sometimes 0 of those 4 things. And I'll say the 4 things again. Now since COVID, it's been 5 or 6 people less than 3 of the 4 things, and most of the people I talk to now are all 4. I'm 3 of the 4, and then here are the 4 things again.
No bankruptcy.
Bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy. Me is no bankruptcy. 2, depression. 3, highest level of anxiety you can imagine. 4, trauma as a child or young adult. So I'm 3 of those 4, and you're 3 of the 4. Is that correct?
I think trauma as a childhood is a really big. I spent 10 years working in psychiatry, so I have seen
All right.
real
Yes.
trauma.
Okay. All right, you're a detail person, so that's a yes. Go ahead.
And no, not to anxiety.
No, well,
I don't experience anxiety.
You're the exception to the exception. You're now the 6th or 7th person since COVID.
Okay. Meredith, do you know? Do any of those resonate with you?
Almost bankrupt.
Yep.
Near bankruptcy.
Yep. That's one.
Trauma.
Childhood trauma for sure.
Yep.
And mental illness has not been something, or anxiety that has been huge for me. Luckily. What's the 4th one? I'm having a hard time remembering it. No, depression. No, not depression.
So both of you are 2 of the ultimate exceptions, which would make sense considering you have a show together. Because
yeah.
Okay. I'm feeling the need to leave our listeners and our viewers with something maybe detailed, maybe concrete, that they can take with them today. And maybe we've already said it, that, no excuses, just throw them down the street, right? Kick them down the alley, because excuses, and I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but they're just keeping us small and keeping us limited.
Right.
And water seeks its own level. I learned that many
water
moons
seeks
ago.
its own level. Good. Yeah, so most of my days talking to people with ADD, and they just ramble. But if someone says something really, really interesting, water seeks its own level. That makes sense. Like attracts like. If you want to stay in a small pond or a creek, go for it. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Meredith, what do you got?
I am. What do I got? I'm actually stuck still on these 4 things. I'm going to be completely honest with you. That's where I'm at. Because I think I feel like I have had anxiety. I feel like that's why I'm good at helping people. I didn't have it until later on in life, though, and I didn't realize.
Kicked in.
Yeah, I didn't realize what it was until it was late. Like, I was having reactions as an actor on stages.
So you're 3 of the 4, and now you're aware of it. That's why you're.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that. What I want to share to our audience who's listening and watching right now is that you can manage anxiety and that
Mm.
it can be managed.
Not
I've
only
And
learned
it
how to
can be an
you
excuse.
use it as no, you use it as again, entrepreneurs are the most damaged people with the best coping skills, the most damaged.
right, you can use it to your benefit.
100%.
100%. And so that's what I wanted to share with that, which is find tools for how you can, and that's what I say managing it is use it to your benefit rather than crippling you and keeping you in a fear state and
Yes,
keeping you from doing things, whether that be on stage or start that new entrepreneurial
right.
journey, whatever it is, you can figure it out.
Mm. Thank
Well,
you.
right, and you not only can, but there's no choice. A true visionary, there's no. So the um, so one of my great friends, her name's Melissa Bernstein. So and she openly talks about this, so it's okay for me. I know it's okay for me to talk about it. So she and her husband Doug created Melissa and Doug Toys. It's the top wooden toy
Mhm.
company in the world. So she's become a great friend. Even for the people I talk to, she's like, I mean, beyond visionary. So she's been suicidal since age 8. I think she's 58 now. 58. Pure genius. Like me, she comes from Talmudic, rabbinical folks on both sides of her family. She and I might be related, which would be interesting. But anyway, she
Mm.
sent me an article from a late Polish psychiatrist named Kazimierz Dabrowski, and he wrote about the theory of positive disintegration. And a true visionary, they have three things what he described as overexcitabilities, and one is emotional, which is EQ. um, Two is intellectual, so IQ, and then the third, which is really interesting, is imaginational. Both of you definitely have imaginational. I can hear it in how you create or talk or perform on stage. So anyway, but a true visionary has all three: emotional, intellectual, and imaginational. And then it's very rare to have all three, very rare. But so Melissa described them as this, because you take the anxiety or whatever and you turn it into something. So she
Mm.
described those three overexcitabilities as this: rocket boosters in one's soul that propel them forward despite their hardships and challenges. So you actually, like, you have to. That's why I'm convinced that there's so few people less than three of those four things, because a true visionary, you essentially have to go through them. One of my friends is a multi-billionaire uh, in Africa, and he's going through a massive legal case right now. He might actually be in prison right now. I have to double check on that. But so when you get to that level, people come after you. But I was telling him about the all four things, and he was like, "Well, you have to go through all four. You have to." I don't necessarily agree with him, but he's like, "You have to go through all four to transform from pride to purpose. You have to go through all four."
Mm.
I don't know if that's true because I haven't gone through all four, and I'm purely in purpose, but I do see what he's saying. I do hear it. Um, so, but that's maybe for another discussion. But
Mm.
definitely, at least, I mean, again, 5 or 6. You're the seventh. I don't. I mean, I think you are actually three of the four, Joseph. But that's for you to determine. But like, if 2.5. So anyway, it's so rare to not be.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just, again, all I do is talk to people like us. It's almost never happens anymore. So,
Hmm.
okay,
Beautiful.
thanks.
We're gonna.
Justin, yeah, thank you. This has been a really, I just absolutely love having these conversations with you. And thank you, Joseph. And thank you, listeners. And please follow Justin on LinkedIn. We will also have him in the show notes when this is released as a podcast next month. And please check out Epic Fit Network. And Joseph, you are amazing. And I hope you have a beautiful day, you as well, Justin, and keep fighting with love.
Oh yes. Thanks for that reminder. Thank you. Thank you both.
You're welcome.